just when I think it couldn't get any worse. Jacob Kirkbride, SAFC Fan TV, back again for another match review, and final score tonight, Bristol Rovers 2, Sunderland 0, and the game was just an absolute nightmare from start to finish tonight. So much lack of quality from us, and I thought the game at the weekend, especially our defending against Gillingham, couldn't get any worse. I mean, that more or less topped it tonight. What summed it up? 6 shots on goal, only 2 on target, which is abysmal. And especially we were up against a team who lost, I think it was 3-1 to the side who were bottom of the table at the weekend just gone. I mean, that just sums up this league completely. It's just a horrible league. You just unpredictable at times, which is kind of good because we need results to go our way now to the end of the season now, but also just so frustrating at the same time. But start of the game, when I saw the team line up, I was actually quite motivated and confident that we were going to get a result. The fact that this was the first time Phil Parkinson in about 2 and a bit months he made serious changes. Lafferty, who scored 2 against Gillingham, kept his place. Josh Scowen was brought into the midfield. George Dobson was dropped to the bench. Seimenyo started in the front three as well. But the disappointing thing is he kept the same defence from the Gillingham game, and Ozturk and Flanagan were just completely exposed by the pace of Clarke-Harris tonight. And he simply got to, I think he's got to go with a flat back 4 against Blackpool now on Saturday. Joel Lynch has got to come back in. Tommy Smith potentially needs to be in contention as well. I mean, Flanagan and Ozturk as a pair tonight were just absolutely shocking. Just letting second balls bounce, trying to play it out from the back. They were just closed down so quickly by Clarke-Harris. And let's talk about Clarke-Harris's goal. I mean, it was a ball across that came on the right-hand side. And this is another thing. Luke 09, it's been a bit of a scapegoat for me the last couple of games. For some reason, he's been given this free pass by the fans, especially on social media. He's got to get so much tighter to him. Just allows him to turn and spin and put it in the top corner. It's just like, you can't be doing. You've simply, like, for me, if we kept Clarke-Harris quiet tonight, we wouldn't have lost that game. We would have at least had a draw. But even when you look at in the manner of their previous game they played at the weekend against a side bottom of the league, we should be winning this game. And that was the last of the games in hand that we had, and we've completely blown it. Only us and Ipswich now, I think, have played max games in League One, and like the teams above us have all got a game or so more, and there's a couple of teams below us who have all got games in hand on us as well, so worrying signs ahead. Bit of a surprise at half time, taking Kyle Lafferty off and bringing Charlie Wyke on. For me, the only reason I can think he did that was simply because I think Lafferty was getting sucked in too much into the physical aspect of the game. He was drawing in too many fouls. But to be honest, I think with a more better half-time team talk, he would have cut them out and potentially just like I can't even get my words out at the moment. Would have less been drawn into Bristol's game plan to keep him quiet, and potentially there might have been an injury in there. I mean, I don't know, but Wyke offered just absolutely nothing second half. Every time the ball was pumped up to him, like, his first touch was so bad. Honestly, it was like he was making a long pass. That's how shocking he was when he came on. And another worrying stat is we've now, I think it's only come back to win 2 games this season from winning positions. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. 2 league games. I think the first one was Portsmouth at home back in August, a 2-1 win. And the second one, I think, was Accrington Stanley away where we won 3-1. I think those are the only 2. Obviously, I need to check the stats and correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, what's even worse is we're now without a win in 4 league games. And just like our overall play, I don't think we strung more than 4 or 5 passes together tonight. It was that bad. I mean, in terms of playing the ball out from the back, we just looked shocking. And like, I know I'm not a fan of this hoofball play, but to be honest, like, if we're going to go into the rest of the season, that's probably our best shout to get goals, because, like, we never break within, like, never play the ball with enough pace. Like, the back line, like, whenever we're up against a team who have a pacey striker, we just get exposed and, like, make stupid errors, which is exactly what Flanagan and Ozturk did tonight. And, like, against Blackpool on Saturday, we've simply got to change this. And, like, other players that, like, Max Power and Josh Scowen as a pair, I think they're just a little bit too similar, and, like, they never really got their passing game going. I think they were getting sucked into Bristol's game plan, like Lafferty a little bit too much, making stupid. Max Power, like, as a captain, yeah, he does show leadership at times, but my God, that guy likes to make some stupid fouls in unnecessary moments in the game. And just, like, the amount of times he was just literally using, like, his physicality too much and, like, barging people out the way when really he could have released the ball sooner. It was just ridiculous. But what the only positive note I can pick out from a player tonight was Seimenyo. Every time he got the ball, he wanted to drive forward at the defence. He had a lot of pace about him, and I thought that was the most effective change Parkinson made, because I did think Gooch needed to drop out the side because he hasn't looked match fit the past 2 or 3 games. I mean, now I think here's the big debate, right? Do we drop Max Power and take our captain out the team to bring George Dobson back in? Because a lot of fans have been thinking George Dobson's been playing well recently. Or do we drop Scowen because he didn't have the best of games? But then again, that is Power's first real test he's had in a Sunderland shirt. We can't really judge him after 190 minutes he's played. It's just, that's the thing. Like, I think the signings we made, like Power, Scowen and Dobson, just play too similar. They like to play a lot more deeper rather than go forward with the ball. And, like, the only real time, I think Dobson needs to be played potentially, like, further up the pitch. And, like, the time that Parkinson did do that, we scored a brilliant goal from against Gillingham. It was his brilliant pass to put Lafferty through on goal. One-on-one with the keeper, finished it wonderfully into the net, but it was his pass that made that goal. And also Dobson still on 1 yellow card away from a 2-game suspension. It feels like he's had that for the past 2 or 3 months now. Has this poor run of games been on the cards? I mean, you look at the run we had in January, look at the teams we beat though, like Tranmere, MK Dons, Lincoln have not had a good second half to the season as well. So should we really, like, the squad we have, personally, I think should be putting aside those teams easily. So I think the run is now starting to look a little bit overrated, if I'm honest. Like, even if this team gets promoted, like, we're in for a few batterings next season now if we keep that squad. Like, and I know it goes back to the debate if, like, we get promoted, we'll have a better chance of getting a new owner in that will give a lot better investment than what Stuart Donald will give to the team at the moment. But to be honest, at this moment in time, I don't even think we're going to make the playoffs, if I'm honest. I mean, it's really that bad. The only successful signing we really made in January, which even that sounds like a pointless comment because Parkinson's hardly played them, has been Bailey Wright. And within a month, picks up an injury against Oxford and he's out for the rest of the season. So just sums up the bad luck we're having. The games we've got coming up, obviously Blackpool on Saturday, that is a must-win game now, considering the fact that the week after we were meant to play Bury, but obviously they got kicked out of the league. And if I'm honest, knowing what we've done in previous international weekends this season, it's looking like that Southend game's going to get called off as well, which is just pathetic. Like, even, like, look at where they are. That they're bottom of the league. Surely our second team, like the likes of Grigg, even Tommy Smith, Conor McLaughlin, like Conor McLaughlin hasn't been called up for Northern Light. Even like they can come in and do a job against the side who's bottom of the table. Even if John McLaughlin gets called up for the Scotland national team, Lee Burge can come in and do a job. I mean, that's the reason we signed Lee Burge in the first place. And like every international weekend, we've decided to postpone it. I'm not sure. Obviously, I like people to clear this up in the comments below. Does the manager get the final say, or if there's a certain amount of players called up, do we have to postpone the game anyway? That's what I really want cleared up. But Bristol Rovers, fair play to them. They were excellent tonight. Clarke-Harris is he looks like a very talented striker. I think they'll be lucky to keep him in the summer. Very quick. His physicality is good as well. He's got a good turn of pace. Always likes to get a shot on goal when he finds space in the box. Just an all-round natural finisher, and like his second goal from the penalty spot, obviously, like I just had a feeling he was going to score it when he stepped up to take it. But John McLaughlin, like when he watches that back again, he realises like it went under him too easily, and he's got to be looking to save that. Even worse to note, teams above us have got one more, I think, or one or two more games to play than us now. I think only us and Ipswich have played maximum games this season. I've accepted that top two is completely gone now, and I think alarm bells have been ringing after the 1-1 draw against Fleetwood, where we got sucked into their game plan, and we simply lost our way by competing, like giving away too many fouls and getting sucked into their game plan and not coming out of all 3 points rather than sticking to like simply play into the flow of the game. Going into the final 8 games of the season now, 8 points off top spot, which looks like Coventry are going to run away with the league now, and 3 points off second. But the way we're playing, like we're just literally ballsing up every single opportunity. The only set out of the current top 6 we've got to play, I think it's Rotherham away, which is last game of the season, and Peterborough at home. But to be honest, Peterborough at home, that's going to be a real struggle. I mean, we're up against a player who literally will run rings around our defence if Parkinson continues to play this same back three. And when you come up against a player like Ivan Toney, who's netted 24 goals this season, you just ask him for trouble. And one saving grace, obviously Blackpool, they suffered a 2-1 defeat tonight against Tranmere Rovers, which they'll be low on confidence after that game, but so will we as well. And I think on Saturday it will be simply like a snatch and grab game. I think the quality will be poor. It will just be about who wants it more and which of the players on the pitch want to bounce back more compared to after the disappointing. Honestly, like my words in this video, honestly, they can't come out at the moment. It's just, I need a good night's sleep, and like it's going to feel worse when I go to work the next morning. Man of the match, I would say Seimenyo. I think he's the one positive that we can look at going into the latter stages of the season. Like he looks a real talent, and I think he's got a bright future in football. But I think even if he does really well, we'll really struggle to keep him next season. I think Bristol City will want to bring him back. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Try not to have nightmares about the rest of the season, potentially going to Wembley and completely throwing it away again. Just keep the faith for Saturday. Have a good night. How are the lads?